Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name's Kylie and I post a lot of nursing school videos and vlogs and lifestyle videos. So if y'all are interested, then go ahead and keep watching. But today's video is kind of going to be a review and kind of overview of how my first level clinicals went. So I have some notes here, just if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. And if you hear my dogs barking, they have been getting on my nerves because I keep setting up my camera and I keep kind of knocking it over. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start. So I'm just gonna do it in kind of sections, so like clinicals, lab, lecture. So first I'm gonna start off with my clinical review. So basically, I did a video a couple weeks ago of preparing for clinicals, so if you're kind of interested in that, it's a couple weeks back, and that kind of also has a lot of information as well about the clinicals. But the first thing that I feel like is very, very important is getting a uniform that fits really well. So we have like our scrub top and our scrub bottoms, and we have they didn't give us super specific guidelines about shoes, but I know some hospitals do. So if you have a hospital that gives you uncomfortable shoes, that's not really something that you can, get around. But if you have a more lenient shoe policy, then I would recommend trying on different shoes and getting a shoe that fits you well and is comfortable for you to walk in and stand in for long periods of time. I also don't really like V-necks, and we have a really odd scrub color that's like, it's not odd, it's the color for our school, but it's hard to find a lot of times. So, and really the main styles I have it in is a V-neck, and I don't like that. So I just went ahead and bought some of the under scrub long sleeve shirts. The only policy we have for that is just that they have to be white, which is really easy to find. So I had that, and I also had some compression socks. Just some white ones. You couldn't see them anyways, but they were just white because I wanted that color. But we were also told we could just have fun with our socks. But yeah, so that's the main pieces you're gonna need is the shoes, the scrub top and bottoms, if you want an under scrub top, compression socks. We also were given the option to wear like a scrub coat, like a scrub jacket that matched our uniform color. I didn't do that just because I don't like the look of them, and I also already had the long sleeve on. But if you're somewhere that's really cold and y'all are able to do that, then yeah, go ahead and do that if that makes you more comfortable. We also had to wear N95 masks. I just bought a pack on Amazon, but the pack that I bought was the kind that instead of having like the two ears, it's the kind that like goes around and has the two straps that like connect in the back, and I don't like those, and it's hard to wear them, and they hurt my ears, and it's hard to wear them and have my like hair look okay. So if you're ordering masks like online somewhere, I would recommend looking at the pictures and making sure you're getting the ones that you like, if it's those that go all the way around or if it's those with the individual ear holes. We have to wear N95 masks. If you don't have to wear those, I would just make sure that whatever mask, if you have to wear a mask, is comfortable. One thing that is really, really important is working ahead in your clinicals. We get our clinical assignments the night before, or really the day before. We would have clinicals Monday morning, early in the morning, and we would be able to pick up our assignments around like 3. So I would go pick them up at 3 and then come home, which is an hour drive. So around 4 I would start working, and the first night I was literally up until like 1 or 2 in the morning. After that it wasn't as bad after I got kind of the hang of it, but that first night was terrible. So I would recommend making sure that that night you come home and you immediately start working. If you finish early, great, and you can go do whatever you need to do, but if you don't start working immediately, you might not get done until really late in the night. And then I had to wake up at like 4:30, so I really could not get done that late. The paperwork is really different than anything I had ever done before, so I'd recommend if you have friends in the class who are repeating, or friends who are in a higher level than you, or someone like that that you can talk to, I, at the beginning of the semester, really wasn't comfortable asking my professors questions just because they scared me. But if you're comfortable asking your professor questions, and feel free, they'll probably honestly be able to help better than like your friends and classmates will. But that's who I was comfortable asking, and so that's who I asked, and it really helped me out. I would also recommend kind of familiarizing yourself with whatever resources you use. So we used Lippincott Advisor for a lot of our like drug card information and disease map information and stuff like that. So I would recommend kind of familiarizing yourself before clinicals. We had 2 weeks of class before clinicals started, so we already had access to it, and I wish that I would have already gone ahead and familiarized myself, because that first night, if I would have kind of known what to click on and where to go, I wouldn't have had as hard of a time. So we also, if you've watched my other videos about clinicals, I kind of talk about the paperwork. We had our PDP, which is our patient daily profile, and we would have to write the drug information. Even before we were passing medications, we would still go over the drug medication, and it just really familiarize ourselves with it. But we would write drug cards for each drug, or you could write it directly into your PDP, but what I chose to do is make drug cards for each drug. And the reason I chose to do that is because those cards could be reused every week. So, I mean, one very common medication is acetaminophen. So, I make the acetaminophen card once, and I can just reuse it for all of the patients that need acetaminophen. And so, instead of just writing a full page of stuff out every week, I would save some time with that. If y'all have something similar to that, I would recommend doing that. I think it's also really important to review your past notes from like patho or from earlier in the semester about the actual disease process for whatever disease you have or your patient has. We would make a disease map, which was nice as well, but it's really good to refamiliarize yourself with that. So if your patient had like heart failure, I would already be going back to make my disease map, but I would want to go ahead and look at like, what are the symptoms? What should I be looking out for? Stuff like that. What medications might they take? And just really important things to look out for regarding the disease that your patient might have. It's also really, really important while you are in the hospital to be communicating with your instructors and your nurses that you're under. I would always be nervous to talk to my nurses. I would really, really stress communicating with your nurses and your instructors as well. They know a lot more than you. They've already been through the school. They already know what they're talking about. If you're ever concerned about something, go immediately to one of them and ask them. It might not be something worth worrying over, but they are going to be the ones to tell you that. I was always nervous to talk to my instructor because, again, she just scared me, but that was just a me problem. She wasn't mean or anything. It was just a me problem. But I would recommend really forming a relationship with these people, especially if you're at a smaller hospital like we were and it's a lot of the same nurses working every time. I had the same nurse for my patients, like I'd say like more than 75% of the time it was this one nurse that I had. So I would recommend really building relationships with these people, especially if you're going to be with them more than once possibly. And it's always a good idea to ask for help if you feel like you need help. If you need help doing a like linen change, or if you need help getting someone's gown changed or doing a bed bath, you should always ask for help. But you can always ask one of your classmates. And I also think it's very important to pack the night before clinicals. Pack all your clinical bag up. Get all your clothes together, and in an area that you're going to get ready, get like your deodorant, your toothbrush and toothpaste, probably not perfume, we're not able to wear perfume or lotion or anything, but anything like that, any of your skincare that you might need to do, dry shampoo if you need it, a straightener if you need it, a ponytail, get all of it together the night before in one area so that you can just wake up, get dressed, get all your hair done, all your skincare, grab your bag, grab your lunch out the fridge and go. Just so that if you are able to get some extra minutes of sleep, you can, or if you're still not able to get some extra minutes of sleep, you're not going to have to be stressing on the drive over because it'll all already be done. Okay, so now let's talk about lab. So in first level, we have a lab. After this, we don't have a lab, we just have a longer clinical. But our labs were very long. They were the same amount of time as a clinical, so I think it was like 7 hours of lab. It's really important to bring a lunch with you to your lab. We got out for lunch every day, and so in that time you really need a lunch. You need to make sure that you're feeding yourself, taking care of your body, and one way to do that is by eating your lunch every day. A lot of people forget to eat while they're in nursing school, and they will lose weight. I do not have weight to lose, but I lost weight this semester, and I'm trying to gain it back this summer. But it's very, very important, even when you're stressed, even when you're busy, to make sure that you're still eating and getting your meals in and getting your snacks in. In the lab, it's really important to also use that time to practice your skills, practice on the dummies, practice on your classmates. When you get home, it's also good to practice on your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your parents, your other family members, any of your friends. It's really, really important to practice your stuff and practice your skills. Obviously, some stuff you can't, like wound care, but you can like draw a little paper wound and practice, or like given medications like shots and stuff, you could practice with an orange or a rolled up towel or something like that. And also one thing that I would always do is compare any of the anatomy on myself. So if they were talking about a test, I would do the test. Or if they were talking about like your TMJ, I would like do the little test and like feel it and see how does it feel on me. Like it might be wrong on me as well, but how does it feel on me so that I have a comparison for whenever I do it on somebody else. So for the lectures, we had 2 lectures, and they were 1 class a week, and they were 3 hours long. So I had like a lecture on Thursday for 3 hours and a lecture on Friday for 3 hours. So 1 class a week for 3 hours, it's a lot of information. It's very compact. It's very, very like rich in information. Like it's not something that you can learn very quickly right before a test. It's a very heavy load. So it's very important to start studying ahead. We used, our books were through Lippincott, so we used their Prep U quizzes, and I would study those. It's really important if you do have those, or if you have something similar, to go ahead and start the quizzes for your chapter that night, and start reviewing that material that night, so that you're already getting, the very first day, you're getting it twice already. I also recommend making sure that you're using the resources that they provide you. So we also had ATI. It's important to review your ATI. One issue with the ATI in Lippincott, and I don't know if it's with other textbooks as well, but sometimes they will differ. Your professors will tell you which one to refer to. Also, the way that you take notes is really important, but it's also very individualized to you. So I started using my Apple Pencil on my iPad, and then I would type. And what I'm planning to do next semester is print out the PowerPoint slides and then write directly onto them, so that I'm actually having to write again. But it's really individualized to you. And especially for someone like me who never really had to study in high school, and this is really my first year actually in college, because I took a bunch of dual enrollment, I never learned how to study. So it's really, really important that you are kind of teaching yourself how to study and teaching yourself what works for you. Even stuff that you might have had that worked for you before might not work for you in nursing school. So you really, really need to be kind of reevaluating it as you go. But I would take notes on my iPad, and I would also record the lectures. I never went back and listened to them, so that's on me. But if that's something that might help you, then I would recommend doing that. And it's really important to just remember as you're going through that these tests are going to be a lot harder than they were before now. Before first level, when you had your like anatomy and physiology, or any of your like micro and stuff like that, these tests are much harder, and it's really important to remember that. Overall, first level was a lot of fun for me. It was a lot of work and a lot of stress, but I really enjoyed it and I learned a ton. Some of like the overall tips that I would give is to make sure that if you're kind of putting off your like housework and stuff like that, that you are able to catch up on the weekend. Sometimes I wouldn't, it's okay if you don't, but for me, having like dishes and laundry pile up makes me really stressed. So I would just use the weekend as the day that I would do all that. It's very important to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first. So make sure that you're still taking your showers, doing your skincare, doing your makeup on your days off if you want to. You know, we can't paint our nails, but like paint your toenails or something. Like have fun and do the things that you enjoy. If you have extra time, catch up on one of your TV shows. Draw, paint, listen to your songs, listen to podcasts. Just make sure... Bryden just got home, so they're going crazy. Make sure that you're still enjoying your life. But anyways, I hope that y'all enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna go ahead and end it since they're going crazy. But I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!